Hey there, how's it going? So, I am showing off my version of the teleporter, or at least, just simply something that gets you from one place to another seamlessly. And this works out really well for if you're, I don't know, just trying to make rooms that just continue into other rooms, or even simpler things such as this, where you're just going along a seemingly infinite road. But here, so I'll show you how I'm doing this. It's not an infinite road as you might guess, because an infinite road would be fairly hard to make and would require a lot of time, a lot of energy, yeah, etc. computation. No, so all the assets here are free to get. The terrain is just part of Unity. Terrain dirt, or the dirt covering, is also part of Unity. The streets I found off the asset store for free. Became in a street pack that is very good if you're trying to make cityscapes and whatnot. It just looks great. The first person controller, that's also with the standard assets that you can get. Or that come with Unity. And on main camera, I've got a skybox, as you can see here, and the skybox has an Eerie skybox, which gives you, as you imagine, the Eerie skybox. That's not probably why you came here. Why you came here is because of these teleporters. So here, I'll show you the behind the scenes for the teleporters. Now, I have just these two planes that I've defined to take up, about the space of the road. And, you could have buildings on the side and whatnot to force the player to go through the teleporter. That's easy enough to do. And so I've got this plane A and plane B. And I've added a script to it, simple enough script, as a component to plane A, and as you see here, and the script takes a teleport to game object, and I have it teleport to plane B. So simple enough to just implement. You don't have to understand how the code works. Just put the teleporter script on as a component to a plane, have that plane refer to another plane, and there you go. Just infinite walking or teleportation as you want. Now, I'll show you how the script works. So once again, just takes public game object teleport to, and that's where it's going to. It assumes that uh, the object is a collidable object, hence the void on trigger enter. So that's important to note because you need to have a mesh collider on your object, and you need to have the is trigger setting set to true check. Um, so in that way, when your player, or in this case the other, collides with that object, um, it will actually do something. So now I've got this fanciness, or maybe not fanciness, depending. It's just some simple math stuff. It's just displacement of your character from, in our case, the plane A. This is just sending the character back to plane, or sending it to the teleport to, which is our plane B, and then I'm adding the displacement from here back to the position, or back to the character. And that may seem a little bit complicated, so here I'll explain by images what's going on. So I have my plane A, I've got my plane B, and I have my player. And the player, when it hits plane A, has a certain displacement, x, y, and there's also z, but for just the sake of talking about this 2D, I'm going to say just x, y. So player has a certain displacement vector from the center of your plane. Now, the way the code works is that it says, okay, players hit plane A, get the displacement, player gets sent to plane B, the center of plane B, or wherever this plane B is positioned, and then it adds the transform, or adds the displacement that I got here to the player from plane B. And that creates the smoother effect, as you see of, okay, so I'm just walking along. Oh look, I'm in the center of the road, and I end up in the center, or here. I'll do something a little bit slower. Okay, so I'm on the side of the road, and I enter in, and oh, it looks just like I was just walking along smoothly. That's very nice. That looks very good. It looks seamless, and that's sort of a quality that you want to have a convincing or to have a convincing teleportation. Now, if let's assume that I didn't do that last step, the last fancy work, and I just had the player um, go just get sent to plane B with no displacement or anything added. So I walk here, I walk over, and boom, suddenly just going through the ground, have physics problems or have collision problems, and that's not something that you exactly want. So it's just a little simple code. If you read through it, think through it, do the math for it, makes sense, and it's just easy enough to implement, and it creates this really nice, smooth transition. Okay, now I'm back, or I'm not back, sorry. I'm in my little city that I've made, and, fairly basic things, set up in an hour or two, and it's nothing special. It's just got buildings, and it's got just a bunch of boxes scattered around, and just these roads that aren't all that special. Nothing's really that special in this city. It's using some of the assets from Shantytown, and oh, there's those boxes again. That's kind of weird. I could have sworn I saw those boxes before. Just must be deja vu or something. Anyways, I'll just keep going along my way in the city, and nope, there's those boxes again. Sorry, just using the boxes as a reference point to show. Anyways, as you might have guessed, this city is using teleporters, and it's not actually just using one teleporter, it's using two. So it's or bi-directional, something like that. Means I can just go two ways through the city. So here, just a little overhead view. As you can see, I've got two endpoints and two teleporters. So teleporters, as you imagine, act as when the player enters or hits the teleporter, they get teleported to the ends. Now, I have teleporter A that sends you off to end A. As you can see, I have it set teleport to, and teleporter B, teleport to end B. So that's pretty much all that I'm doing. The only important thing to note is the fact that I don't have the teleporters teleporting to teleporters. Sorry, that's a weird phrasing, but for good reason too, because I've tried having teleporters teleport to teleporters, and they produce this weird thing where if you teleport, you enter a teleporter, and and the way that the teleporters work is that you hit a teleporter, you go to the next teleporter, or wherever the teleporter teleports you to, which is a teleporter, you collide with that teleporter, so you get collided back, so you just keep flipping back and forth between the teleporters, and that's no good, really, because your character ends up being just stuck, or does some weird stuff, and really sort of brings you, or takes you out of the game. So I would highly recommend to have a system instead where you have, here I've got my teleporter A, and I've got my end B. So the player will enter in the teleporter A, they'll come out on the other side on where end A is, and they'll just keep walking on their way. It won't look any different. And then I have a teleporter B on the other side, so the player walks into teleporter B, comes out end A, just keeps walking along, doesn't see any difference, and it works just fine. And you can make the space between these two teleporters smaller or greater or whatnot. This is a pretty good distance just for working in the cityscape, but you know, for whatever you need, you can figure out what the right distance you want is for a house. It might be different just because it's closer spaces, so that would require some work. But for a city, this is like maybe one house length or so between, and it looks just fine when you're walking through it. You don't notice any difference. It's controllable, so you can make sure that a player doesn't go around it at all, that they're forced to go through it, and it just works overall. Anyways, thank you for watching, and please feel free to subscribe to other videos that I do. Anyways, thank you for watching.